So, but no, man, it's a grind right now. Go out with a good attitude. So I can tell you.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 12th. It's time for us to connect with our pros and see what's going on the water. We're going to talk Lee Pitts, Weiss Lake, and a little recap of Coos River Team Trail Championship at Neely Henry. We're going to talk to Josh Herron about Logan Martin and Lay Lake. We caught up with Gentry Gordy to talk Jordan Lake and Lake Martin. And then filling in for Tom Ott this week is Tracy Robinson to talk about Guntersville. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 12th. Hey, we're tuning in right now with our good friend Tracy Robinson. He's going to talk Guntersville fishing. Tom Ott is recovering from surgery on his neck right now. Tom, we hope you're doing well. We hope you're recovering quickly. Tracy will fill in for you in the meantime. But Tracy, what's going on at Guntersville right now?
Guntersville, obviously full of fish. Had the big Toyota tournament there last week. And the one thing that I kind of already know because I spend a lot of time there is you can do about anything you want at Guntersville. Yeah. And that showed up a lot last week. You know, whatever your strength is, whether it's Demiki rigs or it's Carolina rigs, spoons, forward-facing sonar, a little bit of all of that has been going on in the past week, and that was evident in the Toyota tournament. When you listen to the interviews, see the guys fishing, every bait in your box probably got thrown last week to some degree, from crankbaits to everything. So, you know, you can catch them on anything up there. Now, the patterns that are most predominant when you talk to the guys that have the bigger weights, and from my experience and what I see up there, is I tend to focus on the heavier weights, the 1 ounce, 1 1/4 ounce, flipping, punch and bite. It's November, late October down, and it's just a few mats left. Those fish are still just trying to hold on to that last little bit of canopy above them. So there was, several of the big bag came off of a frog and a punching weight doing that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where I tend to try to focus on, to catch those bigger fish. But there were still other people, and I think Kyle Hall and some of those other guys, they were using the forward-facing sonars, and they're chasing the bait fish, and that's typically the rule in the fall, chase the bait fish. But the key to that is some of those bigger fish that I was talking about that I catch up there, the bait fish are around those last little bits of clumps of grass and canopies. So it's still the bait fish, but I tend to, lean towards more of the heavier baits that tend to catch the bigger fish for me in tournament fishing. But if you're just going after numbers up there, bait's the key. Whether it's your rattle traps, those are already starting to play up there. I've seen a lot of people catch them on the rattle traps up there, the spinner bait, something replicating the bait fish up there. And then also tending to get more into the creeks, get a little bit further away from the river now. Those fish are starting to migrate and follow those bait fish into the creeks as the transition, is going on. Here in Alabama, it may be 80 one day, 30 the next. So you do have to be a little flexible when you go up there, to be able to get in the creeks and then get out on the river, checking out those mid depths in the water column. So you do have to be a little flexible to stay on the fish up there, but there's a lot of different ways to catch them right now.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to getting up there, firing up that Mercury I got on the back of my Falcon, and go play a little bit every chance I get. So, Tracy, thanks for the help, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 12th. We're joined by our good friend Gentry Gordy. Gentry, I know I got to spend a bunch of time running my Falcon and Mercury around Neely Henry, but I'm kind of wondering what's going on over there at Jordan Lake and Lake Martin these days.
Jordan Lake is, we talked about it before. It's still the same. It's tough. The bait fish are still out deep. This weather, this water's not cooled off.
Right.
Hopefully, with the days getting shorter, we got some colder weather coming. These fish will make a push towards the bank. It's my favorite time of year. I like to take a frog, run it down there, because the buzzbait stuff, when the leaves start falling, the pine straw, it can be fun, but you've got to have that cooler weather to get them fish up there. But for now, I hate it, but they're still out over them bait balls in deeper water.
We talked to Tracy Robinson a little bit earlier, who fished that ABT championship, and he said that he was doing Demiki rigging and stuff like that. Is that kind of the stuff you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. With your forward-facing sonar, I talked to Trace too. He said one place he was sitting in 80 feet of water, and then fish were suspended in like 40 foot. That's probably why I didn't do too good in the championship.
Yeah, and funny, that's the way I used to have to fish at home a bunch, was suspended fish over real deep water. All right, let's turn our attention to Lake Martin. I know that's a little bit closer to home for you. What's going on down there at Lake Martin?
Martin's heating up. The weights are not showing it, but they're dropping this water fast. I think I was up there week and a half ago. It was about 2 feet down. It's almost 4 feet. So they're dropping it fast with this cooler weather. The number of fish, you can pick anything in your boat and go out there and catch fish. You'll have some days that are tough, but I mean, your 1.5 to 2 pound fish, they're everywhere. You can catch them suspended. You can catch them on the bank. Buzz baits. I mean, everything. But with this water cooling off and it dropping like it is right now, I would concentrate more on your deeper brush piles, because as that water drops, the fish are going to go with it. A little bit deeper points, and just watch the mornings and afternoons because they will come up schooling.
I know that I managed to put a few fish in the boat with a jerkbait. Is that kind of a bite that you're looking at down there?
Yeah, you can catch them on a jerkbait all day, but it like this time of year, it does get tougher when the sun gets up. But first thing in the morning and in the afternoons, that jerkbait's a lot of fun. Rocky points, stuff like that, they'll get on them early.
A little bit of erratic action will trigger some strikes. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate the time. We'll talk to you again next week.
Absolutely, Dano. Thank y'all.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 12th. Hey, we're joined by Lee Pitts, our Mercury Pro staffer from up there at Weiss Lake. Lee, I want to touch real quick first talking about Neely Henry. I know I ran my Falcon Mercury all over that lake for 4 days practicing and fishing the Coosa River Team Trail. Managed to do okay, found a jerkbait bite and a little flipping bite. What are you hearing out of Neely Henry? What did you hear about the tournament, and what are you hearing now?
I think that you were on the right pattern there. That's about what I've heard from everybody. Something, you could get out there and try to get a reaction bite with them. Some of these fish more, once the day progressed and the sun got up, they're getting on that structure. But same thing, that jerkbait and square bill seems to be what everybody was doing. If they got lucky and got a good topwater bite early, then get a little size to it. But I think the jerkbait and square bill has been the key here lately.
Yeah, I know there's still some fish to be had on that main channel grass, that kind of stuff. And I saw crappie boats out there, spider rigs going. They were trolling all over the place. Is that what you're hearing out of the crappie bite there at Neely Henry?
It is that, and also, you can throw a little dock shooting into that. But I think the better fish are still out there on the river ledge. They're still holding right now, tight to that structure. You got to find some brush, man-made or just natural structure. You got to find something these fish are holding on. And just beat and bang around that wood cover and just try to make them mad enough to go out there and try to eat it.
Yeah, and I know Cade Kitchens won that tournament in the grass on main river grass. One day I saw him throwing a swim jig. One day I saw him flipping. But that's what's going on at Neely. Let's talk Weiss Lake right now. What's going on up there? Obviously, you're out on the water.
Yeah, it's we've had some weather issues this week, and it's just been kind of tough. When you throw that wind in there right now, most of the fish are out on the main lake. They're still holding out there just like at Neely, whatever brush they can find. And if you're not getting hung and putting it right in those brush piles, you're not going to get bit. They just don't want to chase right now. The water temperature has got to cool down a little bit. I mean, it's starting to drop down some, but I think the cooler it gets, and with this front coming in that we got right now, it's going to help it. It's just been with these weather issues that we've had, the fish don't know what to do. The bass end of it, the bass bite is really doing well right now. You can catch a lot of fish, but it's just like at Neely. You can go out there and catch a lot of fish all day and have 7-8 pounds, but it's getting those better bites. Once again here, that jerkbait has been pretty good. And also these guys, they're flipping those docks, and a jig's been, the key to getting these better fish right now.
Well, Lee, man, as always, we know you're looking forward to getting your new Falcon F205 with that big old Mercury 250 Pro XS on there. We're working on it. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Talk to you next week.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November the 12th. Hey, we're checking in with our Bass Cat Mercury Pro, Josh Herron. I know he's been spending a bunch of time on Neely Henry like I have, but he never loses touch of Logan Martin and Lay Lake, and we're going to talk those two lakes right now. Josh, what's going on down there?
And it's pretty much the same old grind at the moment. Fishing's pretty tough all the way around. Coosa is definitely not showing out, but it's falling south, so you can expect a little suck, but it's going to get better. Still got a bunch of fish out towards the main lake. this weekend with these cooler temps, you should really start seeing a change in fishing. But right now, it's still kind of the same gig, man. Any of these shallower pockets are really starting to show out, especially around the mouths of them. Up the lake, starting to fire a little bit. But primarily, these fish are, I mean, they're kind of hard up on shad at the moment. So you can run around spy baits, swim baits, stuff like that, looking for that chunky kind of gravel stuff in the mouth of these pockets.
I know that it seems like the water temperatures haven't kind of dropped. I know we were seeing 65 or so at Neely Henry. Is that what you're seeing down there at Logan Martin?
Yeah, it actually came back up some. I mean, there's places that are 68, 69 degrees again. So I don't think these fish really have any idea what they're doing. I keep waiting for one of them to try to spawn again. But but no, man, it's a grind right now. Go out with a good attitude, so I can tell you.
Yeah, it's going to take a bit to get a few bites. You're looking at mouths still, because I know that some of those bait fish are still kind of right there. They're on the main channel and maybe a little bit in those pockets.
Yeah, it seemed like everything that started pushing back came right back out. So we need some cooler temps to really get these fish kind of put in the right direction. Right now, it's no different than when fish first come off the bed. You got fish that go in every direction, and they get really busted up, and you get that couple week lull where they're really hard to catch, or consistency is really hard, and you can catch one on a spook or shaky head at the same time, and there's not really a lot of rhyme or reason to go with it this time of year.
So what would you recommend they do right now? Just kind of move early and then settle down, or what's the deal?
Like cover water. Like eat it up. Go boldly into the abyss.
You heard it there, folks. Power up your Mercury, run. Cover water, throw some reaction baits, have something at the side. Josh, we appreciate everything. We'll talk to you again next week.
See you, man.
Well, that'll wrap up our Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, November the 12th. Thanks for spending the time with us. We hope you get to get out and put a few of those tips that the guys shared with us to be able to put a few more fish in your boat. And don't forget, if you're looking for any of that information, any of those baits that we talked about, we've got them here at the loft. If you're looking for that new boat, it's a good time to come out and talk to Katie and the sales staff. If you want to keep your boat running, see Pat and everybody in the parts department. And of course, if you need service, talk to Angela and Israel and everybody down there. We'll do everything we can to make sure that your boat is on the water and that you get to enjoy the sport. Talk to you soon.